just under half an hour, we go yachting in the Ultra Grand Prix. That's at 4:20. Now, that's after a bit of a laugh with the stand-up comedians.
Thanks. Before I start, I've just got a couple of announcements from the producers here today, if you can listen in. First up, somebody in the audience has lost a wallet. So, if you find that, can you hand it in at reception, please? That's a lost wallet. Can you hand it in at reception? Second up, there's a phone message in for Steve Harris, if he's in. Steve, your real parents are in the bar, and they're looking forward to meeting you for the first time today. So that's Steve Harris, your real parents are in the bar. If Elsie Lawson is in, Elsie, your artificial leg is at reception. Last up, there's a telegram in from the States for Tim Norman from his cousin Jane. Jane says, her lawyer has got the blood test results through and the child is yours. So good news for Tim there.
I've worked out why I'm so sort of paranoid and things. It's because at school I was traumatised by fear at school. I don't know if you had this in your schools, but at my school, if you forgot your swimming kit, you had to do it in the nuddy. Well, like, school is meant to be a preparation ground for life, but what possible bearing does that have on the real world? You don't get Ron Pickering at the Olympic Games going, and a setback for Britain's Duncan Goodhue in the 100 metres butterfly final, he's forgotten his trunks. And the Olympic Federation have ruled that he's got to do it in the nuddy. And it looks as though he hasn't got any pubic hair.
I'm actually not worried about going bald. I'd hate to go like him, though, you know, like, all off in one go. That must be vile. And what happened to him was he had a traumatic experience in his life, and all his hair fell out, and I thought, oh, well, that's fair enough. You can't really take the piss out of that, but have a bloody good go. And what happened to him was he actually fell out of a tree, right, which is terrible. But what I want to know, though, is did Duncan Goodhue pick himself up after falling out of the tree and go, "Hoo-hoo, that was lucky, no broken bones"? Where's me bleeding hair gone? Well, did you come out with it, Duncan? Well, do you think so? Help us look for it. My mum will kill me if I go and looking like this.
Is there anybody in love in the audience? I think I am. Well, I fell in love recently, actually, and I'm absolutely pathetic about it. Falling in love, I'm absolutely pathetic about it. I'm just hanging around the house all day long, waiting for him to phone. Things have got really bad. Even when I'm out, I slow down near phone boxes, just in case he rings. I knew it was love, though, because I got to that very drastic stage of not wanting to wash my jumper because it had his sperm on it.
I was lying in bed the other day, I was feeling really pleased with myself because I'd just filled in this Cosmopolitan magazine questionnaire. Are you a non-sexist, liberated new man, you know? And I'd scored really highly on it. Well, obviously you can tell that now, just by that. So I'm feeling good in a totally non-sexist type of way when my best chick comes in with my breakfast. And I was really shocked because she was wearing stockings, suspenders, lacy knickers, silk bra. I was so upset. I said to her, listen, darling, because I can't remember her name. I said, listen, I said, you're wearing all this stuff and it's turning you from a human being into a mere sex object. It's degrading, it's humiliating, I hate it. Take it all off. But slowly.
Actually, this bloke came up to the other night. Shirt down to here, hairy chest, gold medallion. He said, "Oi, darling, what do you think of me as a man?" I said, ooh. I think it's your best bet.
I just want to check something out with you all here. I just want to run something past you. Has John Major got a moustache or what? Like, what is it? It seems to be sort of a skin moustache. It's like what you might expect to see if you've just been staring at a moustache-shaped light bulb and then immediately looked at his face.
These are photographs of Andy Mackay. You won't know him, I share a flat with him in Acton, in West London. He's quite a small bloke, about 5'2", curly hair. If you see him around and you recognise him from these pictures, go up to him, say, "Are you Andy Mackay?" And if he says yes, say, "Well, do your sodding washing up."
I was wondering what it'd be like to be on an airliner that was crashing. You know, that like 90 seconds between when it was falling out the sky and when it hit the ground. It'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? But I think the unluckiest person has got to be male, middle-class English people. Let's face it, because anyone else in that situation can let go and scream and let go of their terror and their emotions. But English people, of course, especially middle-class men, have to keep their emotions under control in pressure situations, keep the stiff upper lip. So everybody else would be, I don't know, panicking and screaming, people praying and crying, people trying to climb inside the black box, you know. Everybody else goes, "Oh, God, we're going to die, we're going to die!" Englishman? Yes, it does look a little grim, doesn't it?
I'd like to be reading now from Heathcote Williams' classic conservation poem, Whale Nation. Now, those of you who are already familiar with this poem may perhaps notice that I've taken the liberty of adding one or two of my own lines here or there, but I trust you agree that this doesn't interfere with the poem's original meaning in any way. Whale Nation. Out of the body of one whale is made oil, jewellery, clothes, medicine, soap, furniture, cosmetics and ornaments. What a bargain. Try getting all that lot out of a panda. He's got another book out at the moment, Heathcote Williams, called Sacred Elephant, and I'll recite a bit of it to you now, save you the bother of buying it. Like, not that I've read it myself, but like, no doubt it goes, "Oh, elephant, you're so chuffing brilliant. We're all just rubbish, but you're great, you are. I thought you were particularly good on Daktari." And like, when you get all hot and you like roll around in the mud to cool off, that's very clever, that is. And of course, it was completely out of character what happened that time on Blue Peter. Now, I recently joined Greenpeace myself, because just so I could watch the seal culling videos. Because they are fierce. Because the seals always have the same expression on their big brown eyes whenever they see the seal clubbers coming towards them. It's like, "Oh, great, softball. Oh, are we fielding? Referee."
I was down in Soho about 2 weeks ago, and I was like walking around, and it's not as racy as everybody makes out. And I went into one of these sort of like, you know, peep shops and everything, and they've got these blow-up doll things, right? And they're sexy, aren't they? I mean, they are sexy-looking things, aren't they? I mean, you've got to want to have sex pretty badly to buy a plastic bag with a face painted on it. So I bought one, and yeah, they're a con. Come on. You get this box, right, with loads of really beautiful women on the front. You're thinking, not bad, not bad. Take it out of the box, it looks like Sue Pollard. You know, and they haven't got, like, hands or anything, or fingers. They've just got stumps, just these stumps. It's probably modelled on some Saudi Arabian shoplifter they found, you know? And you can buy them with hair. They say, buy them with real hair. And when you get them out, like, it's not real hair. It's like rabbit fur over the head. Looks like it's wearing a parka. Oh, great, I bought a blow-up train spotter.
Just to get a little bit rude now, I'd like to tell you this is absolutely true. You can now get blow-up dolls of men for women. Right? That is true. You can now get blow-up dolls of men for women. And you know blow-up dolls of women, they've got all the basic requirements. Well, apparently, these blow-up dolls of men don't have a penis. It's true. I mean, what were the manufacturers thinking of? Oh, don't bother with that. She'll probably only want a cuddle. I mean, what's going on? Women across the country are buying blow-up dolls so they can cook them a meal. Watch a film together. But I'll tell you a concept that really fascinates me, right? It's this concept of the tits man, the bum man, the legs man. I mean, the idea that you could like these things as a separate entity really quite intrigues me, because I either like a man, all of him, or I don't. I mean, I'd never say, I'm a bollocks girl, me.
The chances are the television you are now watching is 50 hertz. If you take a close look at the screen, you'll see that it flickers. On a new Philips Matchline 100 hertz television, that doesn't happen. Of course, it has NICAM digital stereo sound, but now the new Philips Matchline with 100 hertz technology offers a visibly clearer picture. Now, let Philips open your eyes.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away.
My ex-girlfriend's mother, I'm not saying she's fat, because making comments about her physical appearance would detract from the fact that she's a horrible old bitch. People say to me, Stu, you call yourself a progressive comedian, but material like that isn't a million miles away from the sort of thing that Les Dawson might do about his mother-in-law, is it? And I say, no, you're wrong there, because Les Dawson deals in jokes, and I deal in truth. Truth is, my ex-girlfriend's mother's a horrible old bitch. Her name's Anne Wilson. And she's a junior school teacher from Greenwich in South London. And that's true.
Figured out why psychiatrists are so expensive to go and see. Because they're the only people in the world you can unload all your problems onto without them stopping you halfway through the first sentence and going, ha, you think that's bad?
Actually, I'd just like to tell you a little story that my friend told me, my friend Maria. And I just thought I'd like to tell you this. But my friend Maria was telling me that she knew this girl, right, who had a one-night stand with this bloke, and they were, you know, getting down to it and everything. And at the moment of ecstasy, she suddenly forgot his name. So do you know what she shouted out? Oh, thingy, thingy. I think that's brilliant. And Maria also told me, my friend Maria, she also told me that she knew this married couple, right? And they had a dog called Max. And the married couple were in bed one night, and they were having sex and everything. And they got to the moment of ecstasy, my little euphemism there. And for some completely unknown reason, the wife shouted out, "Oh, Max! Max!" And then in a desperate attempt to make it better, shouted out, "Climax! Climax!"
Quite funny, that one, isn't it? You never can tell, though. Humour's a subjective thing. You've got to keep trying to find the perfect joke. Now, this idea of keep trying always reminds me of the story of Robert the Bruce and the spider. Don't know if you know it. Robert the Bruce was fighting against the English. He wasn't getting on so well, so he ran away and he hid in a cave. And while he was there, his eye fell on a little spider that was trying to swing from one rocky outcrop to another. Watched it once, didn't make it. Second time, didn't make it. Third time, the spider made it. And Robert the Bruce went back to the battle against the English, and he remembered the example of the spider. And when he got there, he spun a huge web out of his own bodily fluids, in which the English soldiers became trapped, leaving Robert the Bruce free to crawl from one to the next, picking them off with his powerful mandibles. Story of Robert the Bruce and the spider there. That story of Robert the Bruce and the spider always reminds me of the story of Robert the Bruce and the head louse. Don't know if you know that one. Robert the Bruce was fighting against the English, wasn't getting on so well, so he ran away and he hid in a cave. And while he was there, his eye fell on a little head louse that was trying to leap from one rocky outcrop to another. Watched it once, didn't make it. Second time, didn't make it. Third time, the head louse made it. And Robert the Bruce went back to the battle against the English, and he remembered the example of the head louse. And when he got there, he was able to cause considerable scalp irritation and skin discomfort, and he won the day. Story of Robert the Bruce and the head louse there. A story of Robert the Bruce and the head louse always reminds me of the story of Robert the Bruce and Anne Wilson, my ex-girlfriend's mother. I don't know if you know it. Robert the Bruce was fighting against the English, wasn't getting on so well, so he ran away and he hid in a cave. And while he was there, his eye fell on Anne Wilson, my ex-girlfriend's mother, who, for some reason, was trying to leap from one rocky outcrop to another. Watched her once, didn't make it. Second time, didn't make it. Third time, Anne Wilson made it. And Robert the Bruce went back to the battle against the English, and he remembered the example of Anne Wilson, my ex-girlfriend's mother. When he got there, he was able to cause enough suspicion and mistrust to make the English soldiers largely impotent and incapable of sustaining long-term relationships.
I'm actually, myself, a world expert on the gunpowder plot and the Guy Fawkes and all that, because the original gunpowder plot was foiled by the government when Guy Fawkes was spotted at the gates of Parliament by a guard whose suspicions, apparently, were first aroused on seeing a man who was 2 foot high, made of an old pillow with a balloon for a head. Fawkes was also the only man in the 17th century to wear an Arsenal scarf, an old pair of his dad's corduroy trousers, and travel on a wooden go-kart.
Actually, I'd just like to say a little bit about my background now, because, well, a bit about school, because I went to a really crap school. I went to St Andrew's Roman Catholic Comprehensive, and it was really crap. And I remember when I was at school, all the really thick girls were encouraged to do childcare. CSE. As an option. It's quite handy, really, because most of them about 3 months pregnant at the time. But at school, it was a Catholic school, and we didn't get books like Mr. Happy or Mr. Tickly. We used to get books like Mr. Leprosy. Or Satan is Coming to Get You. Or Lucifer Lives with Eric and Martin. But I remember when I was growing up, my parents were Irish Catholics, and I remember when I was growing up, my mum and dad, they never ever wanted me to read the Janet and John books, because they said that they were middle class and reactionary. So I was brought up on Irish books. Patrick and Mary. See Patrick kneecap Danny the Informer. Why is Mary packing her weekend bag? Can you guess? That's right, she's going to England for an abortion. So I was very confused as a child, though, because all around the house we used to have these pictures of this bearded man with a crown around his head and his hands held up with nails in and blood dripping down. For years, I thought my mother was a Frank Zappa fan.
Yippee, yippee, yay, yay, yay. Don't you think I look like Peter Beardsley? With Rain Man next to me.
Oh, definitely. When are we going to finish Kinky Afro? Oh, God, I don't know. Uh-oh.
Why does Robert Smith of The Cure always get